popular term into what they hope will be a very popular book.
Yeah, 8 local authors put together a collection of short stories with a Mid-South theme. 3 of those writers are with us live this morning. Welcome to Live at 9, Justin Siebert, April Jones, and Daniel Reese. Good to see you all this morning. Justin, let's begin with you. That's a lot of authors to work on one project. Who came up with this idea? Because that's a lot of cooks in one kitchen.
Yeah, so Daniel actually, I think, kind of got this whole thing started, and he wanted to put together, just a collection of stories, and so he was the one that kind of hounded all of us to get our submissions in, and gave us some great feedback on all of those and everything. So
Daniel gets either the blame or the credit. Daniel, what were you thinking? You know, doing anything by committee is a little tough. Of course, these are individual stories. How difficult was it to figure out what aspect of the Mid-South or Memphis you wanted to focus on for each author?
Well, we kind of put it together as, we're all friends, so we came together as friends, and it wasn't difficult, and they were able to kind of work with me, and the main thing was mainly just Memphis and the Mid-South, so I just said, make every story a love letter to the area that brought us all together. And we went from there, and it came out pretty nice.
All right, April, tell us your love story very quickly here. What was it? What really attracted you to this one story in particular?
So I have 2 stories in the collection, but my favorite one is A New Face for Love. And it is about a woman who finds love, but also finds a curse at the same time.
Finds a what at the same time?
A curse.
A curse,
oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
You got our attention with that one for sure.
You've whetted our appetite. So we have a little romance in the collection. Justin, how about your love story? What inspired you in yours?
Yeah, I've got 2 stories in the collection as well, and one of them that was particularly important for me was a story about a newly disabled person. I use a wheelchair to get around, and we've got a wheelchair basketball team here in Memphis, the Memphis Rolling Grizzlies, and so I kind of wrote about what it's like to be newly disabled, but also find a wheelchair sports team and meet other people who are going through the same thing, and kind of just like share a little bit about the Memphis Grizzlies wheelchair basketball team. So that was the one that I
very cool for sure.
That is very awesome.
All right, Daniel, what about yours?
I guess I'll have 2 stories. Almost all of us have 2 stories in there. And my favorite one is about a University of Memphis student who makes a deal with a vampire at a Waffle House.
What? Wait a minute, what?
Oh, that's very Memphis, honestly. That's very, very Memphis. So, as authors, you also have longer works. How is it more difficult to write a short story or a longer work?
I think it depends on the audience that you're writing for. Sometimes a short story can actually take longer than a novel, but there is a lot less rigidity, and like you can drop the short story if it's not working and move on to another one, where it's a little bit harder to do that if you're working on a novel.
Oh, that makes sense.
Daniel, what about you? What was the biggest challenge of all of this for you?
The biggest challenge was getting everyone to get their stories in, and then working together. We all are in a critique group, so we would come together, work on the stories with each other, bounce ideas off of each other, and try to improve them and get the best work that we could out of each other. In addition, with our other authors, Ricky Boyce, Susan Hobson, they just coming together as a team, and then putting forth our best efforts.
How long was the process?
We started in 2019, and we were going really, really well. And then all of a sudden, something happened in 2020.
Oh, what?
Which
Wow.
Kind of drained the creative energy out of all of us, and we put it on hold. But then one of the positives out of the pandemic was we kind of came back together and reassembled like Avengers, and were able to express something that kind of got us through the time.
Wow.
I love that.
Is there a pretty good chance you guys will likely work on another project like this again? Would you want to, or one time is enough?
We asked Daniel if he wanted to do it again, and he was like, I don't think so. But then he immediately had a whole bunch of ideas for it. So I could tell that he's excited to maybe do this again in the future.
Well, we will watch for that. Okay, April, last word is yours. If there's one thing you hope readers get from the book overall, the overall book, what would it be?
I hope that they have some fun reading our stories and that they appreciate our love for the Mid-South.
All right. That is a very, very cool thing. Thank you
Like
so
that a
much for
lot.
this love letter to Memphis in the Mid-South.
Memphis in the Mid-South. Thank you guys
always
very
is
much.
that.
Good to see you all.
Yeah, thank you all.
Very cool.
Still ahead on Live at 9. Fans of one professional football player kind of in limbo this morning.
Plus, find out why your favorite podcast may now come with a warning label.